It is 4 p.m. We're bringing developing news and the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon or the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao. Some stories we're watching this Friday, February 14. Former President Duterte talked about killing 15 senators during the PDP Laban's proclamation rally yesterday. Duterte said this is to make room for his endorsed candidates in the upcoming elections. The lineup includes Senators Bato de la Rosa, Bongo, actor Philip Salvador, and detained religious leader Apollo Kibuloy. Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office Manager Mel Robles dismisses reports of a database breach as fake news. He emphasizes that the PCSO's Lotto data is secure and that no accounts were compromised despite claims by a hacker group. Robles reassures the public that the PCSO's digital defenses remain strong and reminds the public about falling for misleading online posts. And prices of fuel products are expected to rise next week. Diesel prices may increase by up to 60 centavos per liter, gasoline by up to 75 centavos, and kerosene by up to 30 centavos. The potential hike is attributed to increasing tensions in the Middle East and the intensifying sanctions of U.S. on Iran and on Russia. And joining us today, ang ating mga SBP, ang samahan ng mga busog sa pag-ibig at samahan ng mga bigo sa pag-ibig. Mamili na po kayo kung sino sa kanilang alin.
Busog.
Parang wala akong choice.
Our special guest for today on this Valentine's Day, si Manuel Mogato, ang ating defense editor, at ang isa sa ating mga host dito sa One News at sa TV5, si Miss Gretchen Ho. Batiin natin sa Philippine Star naman sa Paranaque City. Isa pa tong off-cam pa. Wala pa si Tita Ami.
Oo. Hindi ako kasi pinauna ko naman na lahat ng may date kasi traffic sa labas. Ayoko na makigulo. So, dito muna.
Pero ibang alam ni Manny na traffic na
Walang
lugar
date?
Wala akong date.
Alam mo ngayon, maraming MRT.
Hindi, syempre, tayo.
Manawagan ka na raw.
Dedicated tayo sa trabaho. Alam mo naman tayo dito.
Manawagan ka na raw, sabi ng ating
May
producer.
TF man o wala.
Ayan, oo.
Ganyan tayo magmahal.
Oo. Pero maraming sumasakay sa MRT ngayon.
Bakit?
Kasi mapunta Sogo.
Storycon tawag ni
Sorry.
Okay. Ang ating editor-in-chief ng Philippine Star na si Ami Pamintuan will be coming in a few minutes. And also our political pundit, si Tito Ronald Llamas, is running a bit late. Ating political pundit. Pero mamaya may parating tayong political pansit.
Pansit. Yeah.
Literal.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's
So, sa ating mga kapatid.
At ang daming mga nangyari ngayong linggong ito at dami natin pwedeng pag-usapan. At hindi pa natatapos, may mga nangyayari pa rin.
Oo, dahil nagbabanatan.
Hindi lang yun.
Tumitindi.
Maaanghang ang mga salita dito sa kick-off rallies ng
Parehas.
administration at ng
Duterte.
PDP.
Oo.
Parang nagsasagutan.
And then you had the filing of hindi pa
Criminal
filing,
case.
recommendation.
Hindi, recommendation.
It is a recommendation from the NBI for the filing of a criminal case for inciting to sedition and grave threats against VP Sara.
Pero mukhang
Duterte.
nag-i-enjoy, nagre-relax ng si VP Sara sa Japan.
Nasa Japan.
Yan, oo. May snow pa ron.
Tito Ami, anong... Tito Ami. Teka, magansang si Ami. Tito Manny, what do you think was the most significant, of all the things that happened today, what do you think has the most significance and has the more far-reaching implications?
Sa akin, yung dalawang banatan, no? Kasi nung Tuesday, for the first time, no? For so long time na nag-hold ng punches si Pangulong Marcos, binanatan si Pangulong Duterte, yung legacy, no? Walang bayad ng dugo sa tokhang, hindi pumapalakpak sa China at walang dinalapastangan ang kababaihan
Sa Pogo.
sa Pogo. Yan. At si Pangulong Duterte naman ay bumawi. Ang sinabi niyang bangag daw ang ating
Oo.
Pangulo.
Nag-heroin daw.
Oo, pero luma na yun eh. Walang bago. Oo.
Pati
Ay.
yung pagtaas ng presyo ng bilihin
Oo.
na naging anggulo niya.
Huwag mo kalimutan yung sakristan daw ng isang bulaang propeta.
Yan, oo.
At
Na
kasama
bumalik sa
natin-
sa Pasig Jail.
Kasama natin ang ating editor-in-chief ng Philippine Star mula sa Parañaque City, si Tita Ami
Kasama
Pamintuan.
volume.
Ami!
Hi.
Ami, hello.
Happy
Naririnig niyo ba ako?
Valentine's.
Hindi ko marinig yung ano.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Magandang
Happy
hapon, Ami.
Valentine.
Happy Valentine's. We can hear you. So ingat ka sa mga sinasabi mo.
Hindi ko marinig. Mahina yung volume eh. Hindi ko marinig.
You can't hear us? Sige. But Ami, we can hear you.
Naririnig ko lang yung mga headline ninyo.
Okay. And then we'll try to fix the audio.
Yung
But
yun din yung banner namin, yung kill threat. Kill threat.
Oo.
Joke only.
Teka. Let's go to that again. This was said by the president, the former president, noong February 13, and we quote, "Ngayon, marami kasi sila, anong dapat gawin natin? E di patayin natin yung mga senador ngayon para
Hindi ko
mabakante.
marinig.
Kung makapatay tayo ng mga 15 senador, pasok na tayong lahat. Pero kawawa naman, pero nakakainis kasi. Hindi naman lahat. Talking of opportunities, the only way to do it is pasabugin na lang natin yung ano." Again, these were the words made by uttered by the president. Pero as is usually the case, meron yung usually napahabol na that's hyperbole.
Oo, joke lang daw, joke.
It does feel like he is putting himself in the same box as the vice president. Kasi yun nga yung naging issue sa vice presidente, yung kanyang kill threat. Pero siguro ito, hindi niya sinabi na joke only. Ay, hindi pala. Hindi niya sinabi na hindi ito joke.
Usually it's his spokesman who usually try to qualify his statements as hyperbole or joke.
Pero for
Usually.
the last 6 years when he was president, he's been making threats, di ba? So nasanay na yung mga tao.
Pero si VP kasi sinabi niya, hindi ito joke.
Yes.
Hindi ito
oo,
joke.
oo. Pero sabi ni Duterte, 15 daw ang papatay niya. 12 na ito mga takbo
Okay, paano yun?
Paano yun? Paano yung tatlo?
Baka may kasama incumbent.
Yun.
Yung hindi
oo.
tumatakbo.
Si Ami may interpretation
Para madagdagan
kagad.
yung...
Si Ami may interpretation kagad.
Para madagdagan yung mga makakapasok na hindi pro-administration.
Siyam lang naman yung kandidato
Hindi,
niya.
kasi yung sa PDP
At sa
laban,
iba pa.
si Bato, si Bongo.
Bongo.
Yun ang dalawang nakapasok dun sa
Tsaka,
top 12.
Hindi, isama na si Aimee. Dahil
Si Aimee, kasama na rin.
Pero
Tatlo sila.
at the same time,
Pero
si Ami,
alyansa
sinusukan ng,
siya
sinusukan ng some of the people in the Duterte
Oo
camp
nga.
eh. Di ba, Ami?
Masyado
Saka
rin mahigpit yung laban.
hindi niya papatayin yun si Aimee.
Oo.
Will defend Sara Duterte in the impeachment to
Hanggang
death,
sa dulo.
di ba?
Oo. Tsaka nandun pa si Robin Padilla at si Alan Peter Cayetano.
Pero, Ami, I'm also curious how do you plan to treat this quote from the president? From the former president. How do you plan to handle this story?
Di joke. Sinabi niya, joke lang naman, di ba? Jokes about, although with Duterte, yung video.
Uy.
Yung with Duterte, you never know when he's joking hindi ba? Yung kampanya niya, remember in 2016, everybody thought he was half serious Yung pala half joking, yung pala half serious pala, no?
Sometimes it's difficult to
yun
tell
ang
kasi,
problema.
for example, yung jet ski.
Tsaka Ami, naalala
Yes.
mo, yung kanyang threat na kill. Talaga marami namatay. Di ba?
Yun na nga Kala natin joke only or yung di ba hyperbole, hindi pala.
Yung bubusugin yung mga isda sa Manila Bay.
Talaga, tinuruyan talaga.
Oo.
So you also have that that aspect na how far do you excuse the remarks of somebody of much influence? How far do you make excuses for what he says? That's also a question.
Kaya may reaction na yung mga naunang nag-react yung mga members ng House. Sabi nila like father like daughter daw. O like daughter like father ba? Sino ba nauna?
Well, siguro yung father.
Father like daughter.
Oo.
Baka magkaroon din yan ng grave threat case, no? Criminal complaint sa NBI.
Sino mong kapile? Yung mga incumbent senators.
Actually, it's interesting to us. Actually, Bok,
Eugene.
we plan to bring in later si Egon Cayosa, dating Pangulo ng Integrated Bar of the Philippines, a lawyer, of course, to ask him about these kinds of remarks. As far as liabilities are concerned, to what effect or to what degree can you be held liable for remarks like these, if at all? If at all. Under the law, kailan ba nagiging illegal na yan at kailan pa pwedeng ituring na joke time lang?
Alam mo kasi nung si...
Baka kailangan kunin yung track record na nagsasalita, no? Kasi si Rodrigo Duterte, and under him, libo-libo yung napatay talaga.
Pero kasi
Although he can argue na hindi na ako presidente, ano pa magagawa ko?
when he was president,
Diba?
he has immunity, di ba? Pero ngayon, he's an ordinary citizen, so iba na siguro situation.
Anyway, yun. Ami, we will have later si Attorney Egon Cayosa ng Integrated Bar of the Philippines to talk about that. Anyway, nung pumasok kami kasi kanina, pinakalala ko itong dalawang katabi ko dahil nga kasi Valentine's, ang mga miyembro ng SBP.
Kaya naka-Valentine mo, ah.
Samahan ng mga
Happy
bigo,
Valentine.
samahan ng mga bigo sa pag-ibig o kaya samahan ng mga busog sa pag-ibig. Mamili na lang kayo kung sino sa kanila ang alin.
Ayun.
Pwede bang samahan ng mga bago sa pag-ibig? O
Bago?
naman, bago.
Bago.
Oo.
So,
Galing
pabago-bago.
hugot.
Hindi, umaasa sa bagong
umaasa.
pag-ibig.
Okay.
Kayo naman, ano ba yan?
Akala ko, pabago-bago. Papalit-palit.
Nagka-canvas kasi itong isang ano.
Hindi, traffic lang po talaga kaya nandito ako.
Okay. Ami, ano mga malaki niyang storya? So I suppose
Yan
ito isa. Ito
puro
isa.
puro mga kampanya-kampanya. Yan ang inaabangan natin. At saka yung mga reaction dun sa kampanya. Puro ganyan yung istorya. And of course, we're watching yung story from the US dahil lang sabi, yung Trump administration, yung pagtatanggal nila ng libu-libong empleyado all over the world, kasama yung mga local workers. Yung local workers, meaning kung dito sa US Embassy natin, yung mga Pilipino dyan, pwedeng makasama, ha? Although wala pang listahan.
Yung mga
So, yan yung
USAID.
natin.
Mga nasa USAID.
Yun. And apart from that, of course, yung USAID, sinabi na nga kahapon, 4 billion daw ang maaapektuhan. Sa ano pa lang yun, in certain aspects pa lang, hindi pa kompleto yun. Yun yung bilang nila initial na maaapektuhan ng mga programs natin.
15 billion
worth
ata.
of programs. So,
Sabi ni Dr. Herbosa, 15 billion daw ang health programs na maapektuhan.
Bukod dyan, pati edukasyon. Apektado.
Education, health, social services. Kasi may mga ano dyan mga typhoon disaster rehabilitation program. Kasama ata Marawi,
siguro
no?
nagba-Valentine Day
Marawi,
yung mga
sama
tao
Marawi.
ngayon, ano?
May Marawi program ang US eh. Baka maapektuhan din yung rehabilitation.
Ay, okay.
Climate resilience.
Climate,
Delayed na nga maapektuhan pa ang ano.
Ang hindi lang maapektuhan yung sa military.
Di ba di ba under review yung ano?
Hindi, kasi yung,
For 90 days?
kunyari, EDCA, no? Yung EDCA, hindi naman para sa atin yun eh. Para sa kanila.
Para sa kanila yun.
Oo. Yung mga exercises, hindi naman para sa atin yun. Para sa kanila yun. Oo. So, tuloy ang
Baka
ligaya.
daw magkasummit si Trump and with Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping, ha? So titingnan natin, binabantayan
gonna be
din natin yan kung ano mangyayari.
That's certainly going to be interesting.
Meron
Yes.
ang chismis na gusto raw bawasan ni Trump yung military forces in Indo-Pacific.
That
Sa
affects
atin
us,
yun.
Oo, kasi sabi niya, kung babawasan din ng China, yung Coast Guard Patrol sa West Philippine Sea. Yun.
Yun ang kapalit.
Yun ang kapalit. Oo.
Okay.
Yan. Baka kasama yun sa mga pag-uusapan nila.
Yeah.
So, inaabangan natin yan.
Yeah. Mga Bok, I think our guest is ready here. You want to bring him in? We have IBP former President Attorney Egon Domingo Cayosa. Sir, magandang hapon. Are you there? I saw him kanina. There you are. Sir,
Yeah.
magandang hapon po. And thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Happy Valentine's!
Good afternoon,
Happy Valentine's,
sir.
Happy Valentine's, everyone.
Bati na happy
Ang galing mo
Valentine's.
na ako.
Sir, we asked to have you here kasi Several things eh. One is yung grave threat sa na recommendation ng NBI versus VP Sara. That's one aspect of it. And may reaction doon si former Senator Juan Ponce Enrile. I'm sure you already heard about it, but I'll go to that later. The other one is yung bitaw kahapon o kagabi ni dating Pangulo Duterte, kung saan meron siyang pagbibiro o pagbabanta or somewhere in between or both. Naman dun sa 15 senador daw. I suppose that was tongue-in-cheek eh. Pero we wanted to ask you kasi about these things dahil, in the past 6 years, medyo naging blurry ang lines between what is acceptable as humor and what is dangerous or liable under the law. Maybe you could give us a quick rundown as to kailan magiging illegal o kailan magiging liable ang isang tao pag siya'y magbitaw ng salita na medyo alanganin?
Well, it becomes a crime and penalized under the revised penal code kung threat yan. A threat is simply doing something, threatening to do something wrong to a person or committing doing something wrong amounting to a crime to a particular person. So it depends upon the intent. The other one also is the person to whom it is addressed should also feel threatened. Kasi kung joke lang naman ang dating sa kanya, so it will not affect his safety, security, or even his well-being. But it is taken seriously, and there is a capacity on your part to do what you threaten to do. Those are circumstances that would contribute to a conviction.
Kaya Bo.
Pero, sir, no? Kasi, nung panahon ni Pangulong Duterte, when he was still in power, yung joke niya was made good by some people. Nakita natin, ang daming namatay. So, does this qualify as threat? Nawala.
Ay, nawala ata si Attorney
Hindi kaya
Teosa.
attorney.
Nawala. I think,
Nawala.
Attorney, can you hear us?
Happy tayo ngayong Valentine's Day,
Oo.
Attorney,
Ami, bumitaw ata
nag-freeze
yun.
yata siya.
Bumitaw ata
Ako yung lumabas siya, yung
signal.
nag-freeze.
Yun din ang sinabi sa akin kanina sa Morning Matters.
Ano?
Yung intention, kung talagang may masamang intention yung nag-carry out ng threat. At yung pangalawa, kung may nai-invoke na fear out of the person threatened.
Tsaka may
Yun yung
capacity.
sinabi niya. Oo.
May capability to carry out the threat.
I suppose kaya in-establish kagad ng Malacanang that they felt threatened by VP Duterte.
Nag-react na ba ang Malacanang?
I mean, before pa, di
Kasi-
ba?
Yung kay VP Sara,
Kay VP Sara. Di ba?
Kaya VP Sara, oo. Kasi
nag-react na
mukhang...
before kagad eh.
Sinabi naman ni VP Sara, no joke, no joke. 2 beses na sinabi yun.
Pero ang medyo nakakalito, kasabi ni former Justice Secretary Juan Ponce Enrile na ay hindi pwedeng mag-file ng charges dito dahil wala namang condition. Pero di ba nasa revised penal code yun na meron
that's
doon
something we should ask
threat with
Attorney
no
Teose.
condition.
Ang sabi ni JPE, ang Presidential Legal
Jimmy.
Counsel, although no criminal charge could be made at this time against Sara for her statement because it is conditional, care must be taken by both sides to prevent evil third parties from taking advantage. So, yun ang niya, yung kanyang clause na no charge can be made because it is conditional.
Ibig sabihin wala pa nangyayari.
No,
Yun ba
because
yun?
it is conditional, may condition. So, hindi raw liable.
pagka may
Pero
nangyari sa
hindi
kanya,
hindi ba yun ang nature ng threat na meron talagang condition?
Well, nga,
Condition.
a superficial, at least a superficial reading of the Revised Penal Code Article 282 would indicate na may conditional threat na concept. So that's what we should ask nga Attorney Igon Cayose. Baka mamaya we're misleading it eh. Pero let's get the NBI also has the same position eh, na there is a conditional threat. And that's recognized by the
Yes.
Article 282 of Revised
Revised
Penal Code.
But even the threat without condition has repercussions. May penalties din yun. Mas mababa nga
That's
lang.
interesting nga eh. Under Article 282 ng Revised Penal Code, mas magaan ang parusa sa banta na walang kondisyon kaysa sa banta na meron.
Oo nga, no?
Aggravating yung condition.
Oh, I mean, 500 piso ang
Oo.
fine.
Aggravating yan.
Siguro kasi
Ang fine.
meron kang nagawa, pag may condition, pwede ma-fulfill yung condition eh. Kumbaga, Kumbaga,
Iba pa yun.
sabihin mo,
Iba pa yun.
kukurutin kita kung hindi mo nilabhan tong damit ko.
Talagang labado talaga.
So, meron akong kagustuhan na magpalaban ng damit.
You force somebody to do something.
Oo.
Yeah.
Kaya siguro mas mabigat ang
If you are
pag-usapan.
successful in the revised penal code, if you are successful in forcing somebody to fulfill your condition because of your threat, then you're liable for 1 degree lower than your threatened crime.
Mas mabigat.
Oo. If
Mas
you
mabigat
fail,
actually yung penalty.
oo. If you fail to force him to abide by your condition,
Carry
2
out.
degrees.
2 degrees lower.
Oo.
If there is no
Kaya
condition,
nga, mas mahina.
ito amin na to. I looked it up eh. If there is no condition, prison mayor, which is 6 months imprisonment.
6 years.
Hindi, 6 months, 6 months.
6 months.
Oh, and 500 pesos.
Oo nga eh.
Pero yung sinasabi mong one step lower, kung ang crime is murder,
Then it becomes
homicide.
it becomes
mabigat yun.
Yung penalty, yung penalty.
it
Ay,
becomes
nabanggit niyo si JPE, ha? Baka nakakalimutan niyo, Valentine niya, yung birthday niya.
Oo nga.
Happy
Oo nga.
birthday! Oh.
101 years old.
101!
Oo.
Oo.
Nakuha niya na yung kanyang
100,000.
101,000 niya.
last year.
Tingin ko hindi naman niya kailangan yun.
Hindi mabibigyan ulit kapag lumagpas ng 100.
Si Heart Evangelista, di ba? Yes.
100.
Today din.
Hindi ba? 101,000 bibigyan ka
oo.
ulit.
Akala ko si Ate Banglisa, 100 years old. Oy, teka, si Attorney Cayosa is back on the line. Let's bring him in, pero over the phone na lang kasi buwibit ang
sige.
internet. Attorney Cayosa, thank you
sige,
for coming back.
Hi, attorney.
Hi, sir. Can you hear us, sir?
Hello. Yeah, I can hear you.
Mahina.
Yes, sir. Sir, let me zero in on one particular thing. For example, yung sinabi kasi ni dating Senator Juan Ponce Enrile and also Presidential Chief Legal Counsel, ang sabi niya, and I will read his quote po, ang sabi po ni Enrile, although no criminal charge can be made at this time against Sara for her statement because it is conditional, care must be taken by both sides to prevent evil parties from taking advantage. So, in effect, what Enrile is saying, na hindi criminally liable si Sara because yung kanyang threat is conditional. I'm wondering po, kasi I also read Article 282 ng Revised Penal Code, meron pong conditional threat na concept. So, ano po yung tama?
Pagkaiba, yung conditional threat is different from threat with a condition.
Okay. Okay, sige po.
Because yung threat with a condition is that you threaten somebody with a crime so that he will do something, demanding that he will do something or not do something to prevent him from doing something. That's what is defined as a threat with a condition.
Mhm.
Yeah, punishable under the revised penal code. And if you succeed in getting him to do or not to do because of the threat, the penalty for the rape threat would be 1 degree lower than the crime that you were planning to inflict upon to commit. No? Kung hindi naman nag-succeed, hindi mo siya na-pwersa o kaya napigilan because of the threat, the penalty will be 2 degrees lower than the crime that you intended or threatened him with.
Mhm.
That's different from a conditional threat.
Ano po yung ibig sabihin ng conditional threat?
But something that is premised on another thing happening for what you're saying to happen will indeed happen. In the case of Vic Pitara, sabi niya, kung ako mamatay, I hired or I engaged somebody to kill the president, the first lady, and the speaker.
Mhm.
Pero
So,
criminal
parang-
offense din po yan, attorney. Yung conditional threat.
From the investigation and evidence gathering of NBI, I suppose, may nakita sila na posible. It is we don't have jurisprudence over that.
Okay.
Pero-
So, maganda rin kung ma-test ng ang jurisprudence would that amount to the
The same thing.
criminal offense of grave threat?
Pero attorney, sabi niya, meron siyang kinausap eh.
Precisely. And he was even saying, this is no joke.
Yes,
sir.
Joke ito.
So, yung...
Balikan ko lang, attorney, yung yung mga joke, yung nagumpisa tayo sa mga joke eh. Kasi sa yung meron tayong batas against making bomb jokes pag sumasakay sa eroplano.
Sa airport.
Hindi ba
Yeah.
hindi ba mag-a-apply, hindi ba mas matindi ang ganyang klaseng threat? Kasi karamihan naman dyan sa mga joke sa bomb threat eh. If you're going to bomb an airplane, I don't think you're going to talk about it, Pero pinatarusahan yung mga nagjo-joke man lang. Di ba mas malala tong joke mo, napapatay ka ng 15 senator?
Well, number one, there are two different laws involved. Yun sa joke about bombs and everything in the airport and an airplane, that's covered. There's a special law for that.
Mhm.
So the fact that you utter it with or without malice or intent or seriousness, it's already a crime kasi special law eh. Sa revised penal code kasi, there must be intent. And itong grave threat, kung joke lang naman, I mean like you didn't really mean it, let's say, yabang mo lang, o wala ka lang masabi ng sinabi mo, so it might not amount to malice or bad intention. So they look at all the circumstances, whether or not the person meant it. In this particular case, kasi siya mismo nagsabi hindi ito joke. Secondly is they will also look at is that person capable of doing what he threatens to do. So,
O sige, kung speaking of capability, dahil si Rodrigo Duterte nagsalita, halimbawang ako, I'm a senator, and I feel threatened, baka iisipin ko, baka nga ipapatay ako neto. Can I file a criminal complaint against him for grave threat?
yes, you can if you feel particularly referred to by the statement, then you can. Of course, whether or not you get a conviction will depend on the appreciation of the evidence and what kind of evidence will be presented by both parties.
Just to clarify po, attorney, yung conditional threat, nabanggitin niya na kung mamatay ako ay ganito ganyan. Kung sakaling hindi po nagsabi na no joke si VP Sara, ay maaaring lumusot po yun.
But it's not what she said, no joke. I'm just mentioning that because she said that as a matter of fact, diba? So recorded kasi yan. The special circumstance of this is no secret. It was broadcasted all over the place. And at the time she was saying those things, she was dead serious. She was furious. She knew what she was saying. So parang seryoso sa.
So kahit conditional threat po siya, I mean, because you said a threat with condition is different from a conditional threat. At sabi po ni former Justice Secretary Juan Ponce Enrile, no charges could be filed because this is
Conditional.
Conditional.
And there are some lawyers who argue that way. But there are also some who say, but she already engaged and she broadcasted it. It was meant for everybody to
see,
know about, including those intended victims that she might have wanted to intimidate. So it's the act of intimidating.
Tsaka the way it was delivered, di ba?
Pero sir, what...
Hindi naman...
Yes, sir. Pero sir, what particular law governs itong difference ng conditional threat versus threat with
Yes.
condition? I asked that kasi all it says in Article 282 is if the offender shall have made a threat demanding money or imposing any other condition and so on down the line. So yung paghihimay po ng conditional versus threat with condition, ano pong batas na nag-define which one is which and which one is punishable and which one is not?
Well, only threats and threats with conditions or threats without conditions are defined by the revised penal code.
Apo.
Yung conditional threat, that's the name that some lawyers now describe what the Vice President did. Kasi daw merong condition na kung mamatay ako, I've engaged somebody to kill these people. Meron pang mga lawyers describing it as threats from the grave.
That's from the grave, yeah. That's
Those
Panelo.
Those terms are not in law. They're not defined in law. They're just adjectives or terms used to describe what happens.
So sir,
Pero attorney, ibig niyo sabihin,
in effect, bale,
wala
these are
tayong batas
untested.
governing that kasi it seems like a pretty common condition lalo dito sa bansa natin. Ang dami nag-aaway. Madalas namin naririnig yan Kapag
Papatayin kita.
yung magkakaaway sabihin, ikaw pag may nangyari sa akin, lagot kay papapatay kita papapatay ka ng mga kamag-anak ko. We've heard that a lot. Ibig niyo sabihin yung ganong klaseng threat, we have no law covering that specifically.
No, the revised penal code, Article 282. And many ordinary citizens have been convicted of threats exactly in the same situation as you mentioned.
Ganun din
Hindi
ginawa
ba
ni Sara.
kapareho yun nung kay BP Sara? Pag may nangyari sa akin, lagot ka, ipapapatay din kita, ipapapatay ka ng mga kamag-anak ko. Isn't that the same situation? So we have
Yes.
jurisprudence on that. Pwedeng merong basihan siya kung papailan ng grave threats. Di ba?
Meron man, di ba kumisan? Pag pumasok ka dyan at papatayin kita. So may mga ganun na pananalita. So it now depends on the judges. I say judges because malamang sa trial court, kung ma-convict, mag-a-appeal yan sa Court of Appeal, Supreme Court. But it would be good to test what the courts will finally say on the matter.
Pero sir, as a general rule from your experience, these kinds of examples that for example Ami cited, these have been found to be
Yes.
criminally liable in the past, jurisprudence.
Yes, there have been cases like that na they were convicted of rape threats, life threats, or other forms of threats.
It's just that there's also this argument being propounded by other lawyers na baka pwedeng ilusot, at least theoretically pwedeng ilusot.
Yes, of course.
So it's
there are always two sides to a
Yes,
coin.
sir.
So,
Correct.
then
so it
two-
depends on the
equal
appreciation of the
research.
judge. Di ba?
And the
Yes,
lawyer too.
and not only the appreciation of the judge, but the evidence presented and the jurisprudence or principles of criminal law that both parties will bring forth to the judge. We have to convince the judge
Yes, sir.
and prove beyond reasonable doubt that the person who uttered those threats are criminally liable.
Yes, sir.
Ang madali lang dito sa pangyayari kay Vice President Sara, narinig natin lahat. So no question about that. No one is denying that. So parang question of law na lang Siguro what they are working now, or what they've worked around, perhaps are mga collaborating statements or evidence to show na yun talaga ang intention. Of course, they will have to adjust evidence also
Yes,
that
sir.
the three persons mentioned by her felt threatened.
Sir,
Pero in this case, ang
Di ba?
evidence, di ba, video lang? Will it stand in court?
Of course, videos, any digital or electronic form are similar to documents.
Okay.
Sir, teka, may tanong pa ako pero I think we have to go into a gap first. Tama ba, Jan? Yeah, sir, if you don't mind, sir, we'd like to keep you on the line, but we just need to take a quick break. If you don't mind, can you stay with us? We will be right back. Thank you.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's po.
Happy Valentine's.
Mukhang masaya ka.
Traffic na naman kayo.
Mukhang masaya ka.
Napalitan ko ba to o sira tong isa?
We've got developing news in the stories behind headlines. Welcome back to Storycon. Ito po yung live special Valentine's coverage ng Storycon.
Ito po yung banda natin.
Yung mga walang,
Mga sawi.
yung mga walang Valentine, nandito Ami.
Kasama
Happy
natin
Valentine.
ang
Happy V-Day.
ang tropang SBP, ang sama ng mga busog sa pag-ibig,
Yeah.
bigo sa pag-ibig, at saka si Tito Rol Llamas, bulto-bultong pag-ibig.
Oo nga, bulto-bulto yan.
Bago.
Wala.
Ami, mamili ka kung sa kalilinya dyan. Okay, we still with
Samahan ng sagana sa pag-ibig yan, sagana.
SSG.
Iba naman yun.
Okay, we still have with us former IBP President Attorney Igon Cayosa. Sir, thank you for staying with us, sir. Sir, I'll go back to my question kanina that I wanted to ask you. Of course, very, very public yung ginawang press conference online ni VP Sara. The videos there, I think the video's still up. Pero I understand there's also a process for you to be able to use digital material for it to be considered in court. May authentication yan and so on down the line. So ano yung what do they have to tick as far as or check as far as that kind of evidence is concerned? Kasi mukhang yun lang talagang pinaka-evidence and that might be the primary evidence.
Yes, I think that's a primary evidence. Unlike any evidence, you have to lay the premise and for it to be admissible, to be material and relevant, genuine. So you have to show proof that it is a faithful copy of
A
the
faithful
video
copy.
that he broadcasted.
So kailangan pa rin expert dyan. Expert opinion.
Pero attorney, kailangan pa ba yun kung hindi naman nila dinideny? They never denied that the video is authentic eh. Kailangan pa ba ng
That's a good
authentication kung hindi naman kino-contest nung defendant?
That's a good point. During trial, meron yung tinatawag na pre-trial. So people will propose admissions, both sides. So kung hindi naman nila dinideny yung video, that will simplify the whole matter. It only goes to the appreciation of the judge. Would that amount to a grave threat that is punishable by the revised penal code?
Attorney,
Kasi meron yung, kung may mangyari sa akin, so yun ang sinasabi lang conditional.
may kwan ba yun? May basis ba yun? Yung conditional threat? Meron bang, is there such a thing? Such an animal?
No, yes, none in the law books or in the criminal laws of our country. It's just threat, grave threat, simple threat, other kinds of threat.
Yung threat ni Digong nung isang araw na papatayin yung 15 senador para makapasok yung kanyang slate, can that be considered grave threat? Or just a joke?
Possibly. Well, possibly, it's definitely context. That's why context is very important. Diba? But yung under those, by themselves kasi, usually, without the context, the court will take the word as spoken. So if it's for the accused or the prosecution to add color to it or state or magpalusot, tinatawag natin.
Is context
Pero
also...
attorney, kailangan ng private complainant. Hindi yan people of the Philippines case lang. Hindi pwedeng pulis
No,
lang.
it's a public crime.
Ginawa mo to. Apay lang kita ng kaso. You need a private complainant who felt threatened. Ganun ba yon?
No, this is a public crime. So the state can prosecute this. Kinakailangan lang siyempre nila yung private offended party to testify na, yeah, I was really threatened by that.
Pwede bang gamitin
It's
na...
not really the harm but the threat, the insecurity, the fear that is caused by this threat of crimes.
Attorney, pwede bang gamitin context, halimbawa, yung track record nung nag-threaten? Halimbawa, meron kang tokhang na allegedly may 35,000 na pinatay, meron kang kaso sa ICC, crimes against humanity, no? Hindi ba pwedeng context yun na seryoso yung threat? Dahil kung wala yon, kung wala ka namang ganong track record,
May history.
baka hindi masyadong seryoso.
Oo.
Pero kung may ganong kang klaseng context, pwede bang gamitin yon as a context dito sa grave threats?
Most probably they will use that as an argument to prove that he meant business. But more importantly, really, is the person threatened, harmed, or injured. Like, hindi na siya nakatulog, natakot siya, he had to take precautions. So, ganun. So, but of
Anxiety and
course,
sleepless
I agree
nights.
with you. They will use that. No, sleepless nights is about civil damages. Diba? Kahit naman sinong tao, pag sinabi mong ipapapatay kita, siguro the ordinary human being would feel afraid or take precaution.
So, Gretch,
Going back,
marami pala akong pwedeng kasuhan. No?
Kasi
Dahil
marami.
hindi ako nakatulog eh.
Ganun.
Yung mga nag-threaten sa akin.
attorney,
Sino-
Pero
going
yun
back
ang
to
tinatanong ko,
Sarah's case,
attorney, kung wala namang magrereklamo sa mga senador na hindi naman sila na-threaten, pwede bang imbestigahan yan, for example, ng NBI, motu proprio, as a case of grave threat? Kung wala namang nagsasabing senador, di naman kami natatakot dyan kay Digong, ano ba yan, nagbibiro lang yan.
But if that's the statements of the senators, even if NBI would investigate, and they can actually investigate because this is a public crime, it's a public announcement. Kung ganun naman ang feeling ng 15 senador, wala yan, kalokohan lang yan, bravado lang yan. Wala rin patutunguhan yung kanilang investigasyon.
Tsaka hindi specified kung sino yung 15.
15. Kasi 15 sila eh.
Oo.
Hindi 12 eh.
Ang pakiramdam ko dito, parang si Tatay Digong ay nilalagay yung sarili niya sa parehong bangka ni VP Sara. Kumbaga parang, sige, kasuhan yung anak ko, pero kasama ako.
Yan.
Parang ganun eh. Ganun ang nakikita ko dito, nababasa ko dito.
Attorney, let me throw in one more question. Let me just complicate things a little bit kasi we're talking here about something that was done online via Zoom. And given the fact that if you're looking at the criminal case, it has to be beyond reasonable doubt. Given the present circumstances where you have things like AI and digital manipulation, would it be possible for the defense to cast aspersions and doubts as to the veracity of what we all saw online in the future? For example, pag gumulong na yung trial, sabi nila, how can you prove that that really was VP Sara? What if it was AI? What if they just introduced that seed of doubt?
Parang maraming nakakita physically, Ed eh. Yun ang kaibahan eh. No?
Oo. Yung nag-interview.
Sobrang ng panlolo ko yan, Ed.
Yung nag-interview, nung
Masyadong
tanong.
Ang dami na naisip ni Ed Lingaw.
Masyado lang sci-fi yun.
Oo nga.
Pero attorney, sinasabi ni VP Sara na she's denying that she made that threat.
That she made a threat.
Precisely.
Hindi
It
naman
would be
gano'n. Iba
foolhardy
naman
for them
context
to
no.
do that.
She's denying that it was a threat.
Or that it was an active threat. It was not an active threat daw.
Oo.
Actually, sir,
Conditional yan.
Sir, doon ko lang sundutin, sir.
Pinag-uusapan natin.
Ang sabi
Yung
kasi niya, it
conditional
was not
parang fortuit,
it was
ano?
not an
Hindi
active
tayo
threat.
magkaintindihan.
Is there such a thing as an active threat in law? And if it is not an active threat, if there is such a thing, does it make it a non-threat?
But yung active threat, it's not a legal threat. It's a security threat. Mga law enforcers, mga security agencies. So they're the ones who would evaluate whether or not seryoso yan, or active ba yan, or matagal na yan, hindi na nangyari. There's no such thing in criminal law. So, yan, itong mga terms na ito, lumalabas na lang. Kasi sabi, kanya-kanyang malusot na. But going back to denying that the video existed, that will be foolhardy at the part of the Vice President.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's not really real. It will be the opposite of what they are trying to portray politically to the nation. Diba? So I don't think they would do that. Secondly, it will be very difficult for them to cast doubt on that at this late stage. There were many things they did before and after that would show that it was really authentic. So I don't think they would also do that. Ang paninindigan nila na sinabi talaga nila yon, but they will argue that it does not amount to
A threat.
great threat punishable under the revised penal code.
Yes.
Kasi
Ito,
conditional.
attorney, pwede ba ako kunin ka abogado dahil ang daming nagte-threaten sa akin eh. Tsaka hindi ako makatulog. Hindi ako makatulog eh. Oh. Puno ako ng anxiety at tsaka depression.
Yung mga nag-aabulyo ng
sleepless night.
Valentine na ito.
Iba dahilan dito.
Ang haba po ng hair nyo, ha? Ang haba.
Hoy, si Atty. bitawan natin. Baka may Valentine's pa yan. Kaya talaga, palabasa wala kayong Valentine's. Ang luwas sa loob niyang magtanong. Sige, maraming salamat. Attorney
Maraming salamat,
Igon kayo sa dating Pangulo ng IBP. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Marami pa sana akong tanong kung hindi ako na-late.
Salamat.
Oh. Eh di kasi, ang nagtitreat sa'yo, mga girlfriend mo.
Naku,
Hindi totoo yan.
Mas delikado yan.
Hindi totoo yan. Black propaganda yan. Kakasuhan kita bukas.
At ito po yung special Valentine's coverage ng Storycon. Tinawag natin ng sari-sari natin mga news bureau para magbigay ng ulat. At yan po, dyan po nagtatapos ang ating
Kung
special.
wala pa kayong
Ulat,
ginagawa.
ulat tungkol saan? Tungkol saan?
Yung pinanggalingan ng pansit ni Mogs.
Kung wala pa
Wala
kayong,
pa, wala
kung wala pa kayong ginagawa, maraming pansit yung parating dito ngayon.
Estado ng pag-ibig, gano'n.
O, teka, yung isa dyan na may award, hindi nagpadala ng pansit.
Ay,
Eh.
Oo nga.
May utang pa ako, may utang pa ako.
Congratulations, Ami.
Ang
May
tagal,
utang pa. Huwag ngayon, huwag ngayon.
tagal naman ng pork leg bihon mo. Tsaka
Niluluto pa
patatim.
namin, niluluto pa.
O sige, oy, teka, si Papa J, baka palisin na tayo. Ha? Sige, maraming salamat sa inyong pagpapunak sa amin ngayong araw. Thank you for joining Storycon today.
Happy
Ako,
Valentine.
Philippine Star, Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine.
One News Editor, Manny Magato, na miyembro, Pangulo ng SBP. Sama ng mga busog sa pag-ibig. Morning Matters host Gretchen Ho, SBP din, pero ibang bureau. Sama ng mga bigo sa pag-ibig.
Bago!
Bagong
Bago.
At ang ating resident political pundit, si Tito Raul Llamas, SBP, Vice President, samahan ng mga bulto-bulto ang pag-ibig. Ayan.
Ikaw, Ed, ano ka? Ano ka?
Wala, happy lang ako. Okay. Yan naman.
Happy sa pag-ibig.
Storycon. I'm Ed Ligaw. We are One News all sides all the time.
Thank you.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.